Alexandra and welcome back to my channel. Today is the wrap-up of all the 22 books I've read in September. I was about to start filming this video and then I realized I forgot to do a review of one of the books I've read, so it makes it to 22 books in September, which is a lot. But the thing is, I think I finished like 2 physical books I own, which is a disaster, but we'll get to that in a bit. So we'll start with a fantasy I finished this month. So I've read Quicksilver by Callie Hart. This is the book I forgot to do my review, so I'll do it after. Because I write all my reviews in this, but I'll do this one after I finish this video. So in this, you're following Cyrus and what's his name? Kingfisher. The thing is, I started this physical, then I move on to the ebook, then I finished by reading this, and honestly it was disappointing. I was hoping for a lot. It wasn't a lot. The first half is pretty boring, then the second half is good. I think this is worth 3 stars. Like, I did not enjoy myself reading this, so I don't know why it's that popular. I guess it's kind of easy to read and there's a bunch of smut, so maybe that's why people liked it. I did not enjoy it that much. So, you know. Then, let's see in what order should I do that. I think I'll finish with the physical book. So I did read The Bands of Mourning by Brandon Sanderson. This is the Wax and Wayne series book 3. So it's part of the Mistborn world. The main city, Scadrial, is about to reach modernity. But the Bands of Mourning is a metal mine that was owned by the Lord Ruler. So in the first, back in the days, Mistborn, they are said to give the Lord Ruler powers to anyone who has them. So you're following Wax and Wayne as they go on a quest to find the Bands of Mourning. And honestly, I just can't get into this series. Like, I can't, which is sad, but you know, it was still a good read. It was, I think, better than book 2. I'm gonna have to come back to you because I don't have battery anymore, so I'll come back. But this is 3.5 stars, so it's not that bad. Hello, I am back with a full battery. So I was talking about the Bands of Mourning, and this is the Brandon Sanderson I was supposed to read in October, but I started it too late, so that's why I finished it in September. If you didn't know, I'm trying to read one Brandon Sanderson a month this year, and honestly it's going great. I've also, let me find it, the September Brandon Sanderson was I'll find it, Edge Dancer. So it's a novella, and this you're following Lift. She's a street orphan who has the power to convert food into magical energy. She manages to escape the executioner called the Darkness. This thing is tracking radiance, which is the same thing as Lift. So the executioner is tracking people like Lift. She then decides to leave the court where she was living to go protect the vulnerable. While this novella works as like a type of growing up kind of story where Lift is trying to figure out what she wants to do in life and her responsibilities and all of that. I did not enjoy it that much, which is unfortunate because I feel like the writing was good, the story was good, it just didn't work for me, which is very sad. So anyways, that was the Brandon Sanderson for the month. And then I read a book from the Booker Prize long list called Love Forms by Claire Adam. I was trying to read all of the books from the Booker Prize, but then I got very pissed at the fact that some of them won't be published in time for the winner. So I stopped, but I still read this. And this you're following Dawn. She's a 58-year-old woman who lives in London, but she was born in Trinidad. At 16, she was forced to abandon her baby. That was in Venezuela. Now at 58, she's divorced. She has 2 adult sons. and she's trying to find her daughter, which is not easy. There are a bunch of people are trying to take advantage of her because, like, you know, they ask her for money and all of that. This story takes you around London, Trinidad, Venezuela, and talks about the fact that teenage girls were still forced to abandon their baby, and it's not something you're gonna forget. Like, it's gonna stay with you all your life, which is, I mean, not surprising, because even though you didn't see this baby grow up, it's still part of you. Yeah, so, you know, it's also like it makes you think about like abortion and giving your baby for adoption and all that's like related to that. So it was overall very good. The ending though was like, it pissed me off. Really, I was like, why did I read all of this? But overall, the writing was great, which makes sense because it's nominated for the Booker Prize, so not surprising. So I give this 4 stars, which is, I mean, was good. So I got this from the library. I'm late returning it, so I'm gonna do that today or tomorrow. But yeah, so that's all for the physical books I've read this month. Now, let's talk about the fact that I've been using my Kindle a lot. I have Kindle Unlimited and I've been using it a lot. Okay, so I finished the Perfectly Imperfect series by Niva Altaj. So we'll start with book 4. It's called Ruined Secrets. And this you're following Isabella and Luca. Luca is the boss of the Cosa Nostra, an Italian mafia. Then Isabella has been in love with Luca all of her life because he saved her from drowning when she was a kid, and it kept with her like, this guy is perfect and all of that. Now they are getting married, but it's an arranged marriage, which is not what Isabella wanted. She wanted Luca to fall in love with her and all of that, so, you know. Yeah, she did not want him to be forced to marry her. But in all of this, they're gonna face the biggest challenge of their life, and, you know, I enjoyed this book. I think it was very great. It was not as good as Hidden Truth, which I've read before, and I've given it 5 stars to that. But Ruined Secret is worth 4.5 stars. Then Stolen Touches, which is Perfectly Imperfect, book 5. And this you're following Mylène and Salvatore. Mylène, I don't know how to pronounce that in English, so I'm gonna go with Mylène. It's part of the Chicago Italian mafia, but she wants out to become a nurse. So she goes to school, then moves to New York without telling anyone, because like her family would never have let her live into the New York Italian mafia territory. But, you know, she goes, doesn't tell anyone, and attempts to just live her life. But then Salvatore is the boss of the New York Italian mafia, but there's no like picture of him, so nobody knows what it looks like. So Mylène doesn't recognize him. They meet by accident, and then Salvatore learns the full name of Mylène and who she really is. But Mylène still doesn't know who he is, and in order to protect her, he decides to marry her. So he goes to the family of Mylène and like, I want to marry her. So they get married, and Mylène is very pissed, and it's good. It's good. There's a bunch of cats in this, so if you like cats, very nice. I give it 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. Then we'll move on to Fractured Souls, which is the Perfectly Imperfect book 6. And this you're following Asia and Pavel. Asia was kidnapped after a night in a club and forced to work in a brothel. She's from the Italian family of, what is it, Chicago? Yeah, or New York. No, Chicago. And then Pavel finds her when she's escaping, so she's naked in the middle of the street, and Pavel saves us. And he falls in love with her. Pavel is from the Russian Bratva, so, you know, 2 different mafia families. They learn how to have feelings because they both have been emotionless to just survive. I quite enjoy it, but not my favorite, so I give it 3.75 stars. Then Burnt Dream, which is Perfectly Imperfect, book 7. And this you're following Ravenna and Alessandro. Alessandro is connected to the Russian Bratva. He's been planning a revenge for years. And then Ravenna is stuck in a loveless marriage. Her husband is violent, but, you know, they see each other, Ravenna and Alessandro, and they realize that they hate the same person. So, you know, I loved everyone. I enjoyed this book, but it's worth 4.25 stars, so not too bad. Then Silent Lies, which is Perfectly Imperfect, book 8. And this you're following Sienna, whose twin sister, Asia, just got married, and Sienna is like, she doesn't know what to do anymore. She lives with her brother Arturo, and their parents are dead. But then the boss of the mafia asks Sienna to get married to Drago, which is the boss of the Serbs mafia. She has to spy on him. But then, you know, other things happen, and yeah. I love Drago, so I gave it 4.5 stars. Very good. Then we're moving on to Darkest Sins, which is Perfectly Imperfect number 9. And this you're following Nira and Kai. Nira believes that she saved this guy from trouble. But, you know, it's Kai. Nira wants to work with animals, but she's the daughter of a mafia boss. Kai is a killer. So, you know. But Kai is actually very sweet and thoughtful, and it disappears. And then Nira is forced to marry someone. And then Kai reappears many years later when Nira's husband is dead. So, very cute. I give it 4.75 stars. I'm trying to go fast, otherwise we'll be stuck here for forever. Then I read Sweet Prison. It's Perfectly Imperfect number 10. And this you're following Zaha and Massimo. This is a step-siblings romance, which sounds not okay, but Massimo's mother got married to Zaha's father. Massimo was like 18 or 19 when that happened, and Zaha was like 3 or 4. And then Massimo someone and goes to prison for like 18 years. And at one point, Zara, not knowing who to talk to, starts writing letters to Massimo. And then Massimo replies, and they start helping each other and getting closer. But when Massimo gets out of prison, Zara is now an adult, and, you know, they fall in love. It's very cute. I give this 5 stars. I really enjoyed that book. Then I read Precious Hazard, Perfectly Imperfect number 11. So that's the last book in that series. And this is following Tara and Arturo. Arturo is the brother of the twins, so Asia and Sienna. Tara is the sister of Drago, so the husband of Sienna. Drago is the boss of the Serbs mafia. And Arturo is part of the Italian mafia. In the hope of bringing the two families together, Tara will marry Arturo, but that's supposed to be for 1 year, with a good amount of money after that year. But, you know, it doesn't happen like that, and very cute. I also gave this 5 stars. Then we'll move on to another series. So a couple of months ago, I've read the Mississippi Smoke series by Abby Glines, and I finally got my hand on book 5, 6, and 7. So of course I read them in like 2 days. That's what I do. So I read Hell of High Water. This is Mississippi Smoke number 5. Number 5. And this you're following Montana and Tam. Montana loses her mother to a cancer, and she has to blackmail her father, who wasn't really into her, like, present into her life, but she has to blackmail him to get him to help her graduate high school and start college. Then she meets this mafia guy, Tan, who is supposed to be like the babysitter to make sure that Montana doesn't do anything against her father. Anyway, very complicated. But Montana was receiving really creepy letters, and that's why she had to blackmail her father. and then her whole life gets entangled with the mafia life. Honestly, I enjoyed this quite a lot. Montana was great, but I did not really like Tan, but also I love the Mississippi mafia guys, so it's 4.25 stars. Then you know, sometimes your camera doesn't want you to do your videos. It stopped recording. I don't know why. It just stopped. So let's go back. I talked about Hell of High Water. I had to go on my computer with my memory card and see where I was because I had no idea where it stopped recording. So I've read All Jacked Up, which is book 6 of the Mississippi Smoke series. In this, we're following Noah and Ransom. They've known each other since they were in high school. So Noah was the English tutor of Ransom. And then she moves to New York to start college. And then after college, she stays in New York to write books. So she's a published writer. And in all those years while Ransom stayed home, they still, like, they kept talking on the phone, like they texted. They never called each other or seen each other, but then they see each other once again, and Ransom realized that Noah is actually the love of his life. It's very cute. It's funny at times, and I also love the fact that Noah has been writing under another name to keep her privacy, but the guy in the first book she wrote is Ransom, which is kind of funny because, like, Ransom didn't know and all of that. Very cute. So I gave this 4.5 stars. Then I read All Tied Up, which is the Mississippi Smoke number 7. This is part 2 of Noah and Ransom story. So after book 1, Ransom has to stop seeing Noah to protect his family, but also to protect her. He's forced to. He doesn't want to, but mafia orders. But then he decides to go against those orders and put his life on the line. I think it was a great book. It's just I feel like part 1 of their story was better, so I give this 4 stars. Sorry, I have to go see what the cat has done. Sorry, I have 2 cats. One of them is overweight and wants to eat all the time, and when he wants to eat, he does things that he shouldn't be doing, so I had to go. Anyways, he's not hungry. He just wants food. He wants food. So I went on and read another mafia dark romance book. This time is The Lords of Las Vegas by Tammy Anderson. That series is a 6-book series, and then the other one I started is well, I think there's 4 books out, 3 or 4 books out, and next one is coming in December. So we'll start. I've read King of Sinners, which is The Lords of Las Vegas, book 1. And this you're following Charlotte and Mason. Charlotte is a college student, and she witnesses a crime involving mafia families. So Mason decides to protect her, but it has a cost. It's her virginity. But be warned, it happened when she wanted to, so, you know. But yeah, overall I enjoyed it. I loved Charlotte, not so much Mason. For sure it's not the strongest book in that series. If you plan on reading that, just keep on. Like, book 1 was probably the worst. I give it 3.5 stars, but then it gets better. So I read King of Temptation, which is The Lords of Las Vegas, book 2. And this you're following Kim and Leo. Kim is Charlotte's best friend and Leo is Mason's brother. At the wedding of Charlotte and Mason, they have a one-night stand and then they both go on living their life. But Leo has put a card with his, like, number inside of one of the bag of Kim, but Kim doesn't know. So when they're both back in Vegas, Kim doesn't call Leo because she thinks she doesn't have his number, but Leo gets pissed and they meet again and, you know, all of that. I think it was cute. Yeah, it was cute. I wrote here, I have to say that I might have fallen in love with Leo. Just kidding, but I really loved Leo, so that's it. It's 4.25 stars. I'm losing my voice, so I'm gonna go. The cat is doing stupid things. Toto! No. No. Okay, so then I read King of Wrath. This is The Lord of Las Vegas, book 3. And this you're following Nia and Jake. Nia is the is part of the Italian mafia, and Jake is Mason's uncle, but he's not that old, okay? Jake then kidnaps Nia. I'm gonna show you what the cat is doing. Qu'est-ce que tu fais? The other one is very cute, but this one, crazy one. Okay. Hello. Let's go back to what I was talking about before my camera decides to stop working once again. Okay. This. Alright, so yeah, Jake kidnaps Nia, which is kind of... Anyways, they both have a very difficult past, both with parents, well, fathers that have been violent. The cat is, again, doing dumb shit. The Kincaids thought that Nia had like this perfect life, but it was not the case. But with Jake, she figures out a lot of things. Honestly, I love Jake. Nia was this badass who didn't realize that she was a badass, but then she realized, and it's great. But yeah, as you progress into the series, the books are just getting better and better. So this is 4.5. My camera stopped recording once again. I have no idea what the fuck is wrong. It's very annoying. Okay, King of Rune. It's Maddie and Roman. I'm gonna go very fast because I'm tired of this. Maddie is blind and... Hello? It's 2 days later. Yes. I fixed my problem. At least I think I fixed it. But anyways, we'll see if it works. So when I just edited like the first part to see where I was in my review. So right now we're gonna talk about King of Rune. It's the Lords of Las Vegas number 4. So in this you're following Maddie and Roman. Maddie is a blind woman who lives in a house in Vegas that sits on top of a land that the Kincaids want. So Roman and it was Luke, yeah, they go to the house at night to see what it looks like and all of that, but then they get shot by some enemies and Luke disappears. Roman is left on the like side of the house with a shotgun. He's bleeding, but then Maddie gets out and saves him. So Roman takes her to his house and they just figure out everything together and what they're gonna do. I mean, I didn't like the fact that Maddie was blind, not because I have a problem with that, but because Roman was like trying to help her, but also he wanted the land, so that was kind of a bit weird, but I still gave this 4 stars. It was good, but not by far not my favorite, okay? So then I read King of Pain, which is the Lords of Las Vegas number 5, and this you're following Luke and Kate. So reminder, Luke was shot at the same time as Roman, and in the car with the enemies where Luke is like put in and they leave the Maddie's house, there was Kate. Kate is in med school, and she saves Luke because he has a shotgun like too. So she saves him and they leave the enemy's house together, and they're just trying to survive because they're being followed by this crazy guy who they call Gorilla. And they go to a country house in the middle of nowhere, and you know, things, yeah. I loved it because Luke was this guy who was ready to like sell his shares into his family's company to move to New York and be a mechanic, while Kate was in med school. So that part was very nice. Luke was this very nice guy. I loved him. So 4.75 stars. Then I read King of Deception, which is Lords of Las Vegas number 6. Okay, I just saw my like rating and I think I'm gonna change it, but I'll explain. So in this you're following Grace Smith, who is enemy / maybe future business partners of the Kincaid. It's like all this weird. Anyways, Grace is from noble family in the UK. His brother is a duke, so all of that. And you're also following Arabella. Arabella is the sister of the Kincaids, and she's engaged to this very horrible guy named Preston. And her older brother, so Mason, tries to make like this business deal with Preston, but then Luke gets into the mix and Grace to make Arabella fall in love with Grace and all of that. But they really do fall in love, and it was very cute. I loved Arabella. It was amazing. And also I prefer the Smith to the Kincaid, so was very excited with this one. So I gave it 4.75 stars, but thinking about it, it might be a 5 stars. It might be. It was very, very good. I enjoyed this. Then I went into another series called Kings of Las Vegas, where I read only book 1 in September, but in October I've read more because I finished that series. So book 1, King of Depravity. In this you're following Chloe and Killian. Killian is this very dangerous guy who seems emotionless. You'll learn why eventually in the book. Chloe is trying to find a way to pay for school by working in a bar, and Killian, while he's working, watching the Russian, in that bar, he falls in love with Chloe, and there's this whole stalker thing with a guy that doesn't really have emotions and all of that. I really love this. Also, if you have seen my other reviews, this summer I read some books by Abby Glines, and in the Georgia Smoke series, there's this guy called Thatcher, and for me, Thatcher and Killian are the same guy. And Thatcher was my favorite character in that series, so I was very excited to read this book of Killian. I loved it. I loved it so much. Anyway, so that was 5 stars, and that's how I end this very crazy wrap-up of my September. I feel like the fact that my camera stopped working and I had this a bunch of problems is the representation of September, okay? So hopefully October goes better. I'm already on a strong start, by the way, because it's already like first week of October. But yeah, so that's gonna be it for today. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon in another video. Bye!